Before I get into hockey, I think it would be irresponsible of me to not mention what's going on in the larger sports world. Um, the NBA, the WNBA, the MLB, and the MLS suspended play yesterday. As you'll notice, the NHL did not, and they're getting a little bit of flack for that. And I think it's because it seemed reactionary. The Flyers Islanders game happened, and there was no mention of it besides like the intermission report talking about how, oh look, the Bucks are gonna boycott. Um, Before the Tampa, Boston, and the Colorado Dallas game, they had moments of reflection and unity. And during those intermission reports, Anson Carter had a lot of really good conversation topics, as well as insight and analysis about how you should proceed. I'm not going to speak to that. I don't think it's my place to tell people how to protest or what to believe. But if you want to go look up what Anson Carter said, I thought it was very well put. I even like what the Bucks said. I mean, a lot of people are mad about it, but I mean, just if you give it a little bit of thought, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know, if they're trying to use their platform to spread a message and they're doing it in a way where no one gets hurt, and to be honest, it's a massive platform, so why not use it for something like that? Do I necessarily think you have to stop play to promote such messages? No. I don't have an issue with the NHL continuing to play, but also promote. Like, if they're going to keep playing and keep promoting as well, I think that's totally fine. It's however the league wants to do what they want to do, that's totally fine. I know the Bucks boycott makes sense because it's Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that's their backyard kind of deal. And so, like, it makes sense for, like, them to go with a more extreme stance. And not even that it's extreme, but, like, compared to just, like, what the NHL did, which is just talk about it, it's, you understand what I'm saying, right? But if more teams want to talk, like the Islanders after their game talked about a boycott, just threw it out there. Is that an issue? Personally, no. I think it's fine if they want to do that. I also think it's fine if they want to play. But again, that's up to each player, team, and organization. It's just kind of nice to see that that platform is used and it's not wasted, because we know for damn sure that politicians waste their platform every day, as well as the news. Anyways, hockey. Philadelphia Islanders, JVR and Lawton were in the lineup for Hague and Gostisbehere. Varlamov, 40 seconds into the game, set the record for the longest shutout streak in Islanders history. He was not rewarded by his defense for that, because at 1:57, Hayes got a goal assist by Konechny, and Braun went posting in. Green then took a tripping penalty. Hart was looking really good. The Isles were controlling early. But at 9:43, Hayes gets another goal assist by Farabee. The Flyers were cashing in on their chances in this game. Unlike the last game where it's like, oh, let's hit the post. Oh, let's hit the post. Oh, let's not really try. They were really rushing to pucks. Their forecheck was strong. And they kept getting rewarded for it. 15:09, Couturier gets a goal assist by Giroux and Sanheim. And they switch goalies. Grice comes in. And Grice, alright, so let's talk about the goalies, because I have friends that are Islanders fans and they were getting a little upset with Varlamov. Yeah, Varlamov didn't have his best game to date, but I'd also say the defense had their worst game to date. The Islanders lean very heavily on their defense, and they didn't show up today until, well, never. Their offense just picked it up, which is also strange because the Islanders' offense really doesn't do that either. So you had a weird shift where the offense was playing better than the defense, and that's losing Islanders hockey because their offense isn't strong enough to compete with the better offense in the league. I don't think it's Varlamov's fault necessarily, but I also don't and I don't think Grice should start the next game. I also don't think Grice did bad in this game. Second period, Johnson takes a roughing penalty. The Flyers have some great puck movement, some great chances, but Grice is making the saves. The Flyers fall into their typical, let's play a trap because we have the lead. Which is fine, I guess, but it's annoying. It's, again, Islanders hockey's boring enough. I don't want to see the Flyers play it. Martin fans on a shot. Lee's denied. Niskanen destroys Johnston, and then Voracek takes a delay of game. And on that power play, Lee gets a goal at 11:45, assisted by Barzell and Letty. Cizikas almost gets another goal right after that off the face-off. And the Islanders are playing much better, and Couturier takes a slashing penalty. The Islanders get absolutely nothing on that power play that goes over into the third period. The Flyers haven't lost 2 straight since January, which sounds very impressive until you realize that there was like that whole 3-month break. But I mean, it's still something to note, especially when they go on to win this game. Hayes has like a really nice play where he could have went for the hat trick, but it was a very difficult shot. Instead, he passes to Konechny, and Konechny just barely misses. Hart stops Pollock, but at 11-11, Beauvillier makes a wish and cashes in on a goal. This is by Bailey. The Isles are pressuring. They're going for the win here. Myers hits the post, but he's rewarded later. The Flyers were content to just hold on to the lead, which is something you can't do in the NHL, because after Lee hits the post at 17:51, JGP with the goal is by Pelech. It's challenged for offsides. It's a good goal. It could honestly went either way. I didn't really see an angle that made me go 100% that's onside or 100% is offside, so stay with what's on the ice. So then they get a delay game penalty, and then what happened? Hart stopped Bailey, and then Hayes had a really good shorthanded chance to close out the period. We go to overtime. Konechny's denied. Couturier goes high, and at 2:41, Myers makes up for hitting the post with the goals by Couturier to win. The series is now tied 1-1. Shots on goal were 34-31 in favor of New York. Face-off percentage was 53.4 to 46.6 in favor of New York. Power play percentage was 0-33. Philadelphia went 0-2, while the Islanders went 1-3. Hits were 39-31 in favor of the Islanders. Block shots were 17-13 in favor of Philly. Save percentage was .912 to .871 in favor of Philly. .871 is the combined. Varlamov had a .700 and Greiss had a .952. It was not typical game for either team. Konechny definitely deserves a goal. The guy's had a lot of chances the last two games. He's gonna cash in. He's gonna cash in big. I'm calling it now. I already mentioned the Islanders considering a boycott. Which again, if they do, I mean, it's gonna make me a little sad because I mean, I pretty much the only reason I'm living right now is for hockey. But again, I understand the circumstances, and you know, there are bigger things than hockey right now. I mean, not for me personally. No, I'm just kidding. That's not time to make jokes like that. You know, it makes sense. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. I already did. Tampa Boston. This wasn't a game. I forgot to mention this at the end of the last video. Vasilevsky has the most wins by a goalie in the playoffs in Tampa Bay Lightning history. For Boston, Corrali, Bjork, and Clifton are out. Corrali's he was unfit to play. The other two are healthy scratches. Lindholm, Moore, and Lezon are in. Both teams are running 11 forwards and 7 D-men. The Tampa Bay Lightning had gone 16 straight scoreless power plays, including one right before their first goal of the game at 12:46, power play goal Palas by Sergachev and Kucherov. And right after that, because the ref kind of bumped into the Boston defenseman, Gord gets a goal at 13:01. This is by Coleman and Chernak. And it was a fairly even first period. So you would think, second's going to be fine. But at 2:14, power play goals Sergachev assist by Kucherov. Point, you're like, all right, it's only 3-0. Plus, hey, look at this. Power play goal Marchand and assist by Krug and Pasta at 4:56. But then no. At 8:35, Killorn gets a power play goal. This is by Palat and Kucherov. That was their third straight power play goal after going 16 straight scoreless. Vladar makes his NHL debut, the first time a goalie debuts in the playoffs since Jake Allen in 2012. Stats, we got him. At 15:23, Point gets a goal by Killorn and Sergachev. At 18:01, Killorn gets a goal by Gordon Bogosian. Third period starts with a Kucherov goal by Point at 3:58. Poor Vladar was left into a trial by fire. Tampa wins 7-1. Shots on goal were 31-24 in favor of Tampa. Face-off percentage was 54.7% to 45.3 in favor of Tampa. Tampa went 50% of the power play, going 3 for 6. Boston went 33% of the time with 1 for 3. Hits were 40-50 in favor of Boston. Block shots were 15-12 in favor of Tampa. Save percentage was .958 to .774 in favor of Tampa. .774 is a combined. Halak had a .750. Vlader had a .800. Oh boy, Boston was getting very angry this whole game. Carlo tried to fight Cirelli, but Cirelli didn't drop the gloves, so Carlo just picked him up, and that was in the first. Johnson had a fight, I think, with Carlo. Chara was getting mad at Pete. Like, everyone was getting mad. Big mad. Tampa wins 7-1 to tie to take a 2-1 series lead. And like, you would think, all right, Tampa's gonna run away with it, except angry Boston. I don't know. Angry Boston's kind of scary. Not gonna lie. You know, Char is a big scary man. Might just like eat one of them. Colorado Dallas. Donskoy was injured, so O'Connor is in for the Avalanche. The defensive pairing, since Johnson is still out, are changed around a lot. Constantly through the game, the pairings are being moved around. Early, Francois stops a Ben redirect. Dickinson then crushes Nieto. Huge hit. Ben took a tripping penalty. Alexiak blocked like 3 shots in that penalty kill. It's pretty impressive. And at 11-12, Sagan gets a goal by Ben and Heiskanen. Francois was out of position. He went to play the puck on one end while Ben was passing through, and by the time the puck got back around to the front of the net, it was way too late. He was way too far out of his net. And Sagan cashed in. Bellemare has a chance, which he'll cash in later. Kanan takes an interference penalty and takes an embellishment, so we get 4-on-4 hockey. Hudobin making a lot of big stops, no rebounds, huge, no second chances on the shots, which is big for Dallas. We started seeing some line shuffling. Nemesnikov was playing with McKinnon and Rantanen. Landeskog was playing with Kadri and Burakovsky. They were just trying to break up the big three so they get more scoring with McKinnon not on the ice, which is important. They really, up to this point, every single goal scored has been assisted or scored by McKinnon. So they really need to find offense outside of him, which they do at the beginning of the second period. A minute in, right off the face-off, Zadorov gets a goal assist by Kadri. Then Kanan immediately takes a hooking penalty. Pavelski has a chance but is denied. And Dallas was building momentum on the power play, but at 4:41, Burakovsky gets a goal assist by Makar and Zadorov. Hintz is then stopped by Francois, and Janmark and Kadri lock up. Zadorov goes to the locker room. He does come back, though. Alexiak and Cole take roughing penalties. And on delayed penalty at 13 minutes, Landeskog gets a goal by Makar and McKinnon. McKinnon, with that assist, set the record for point streak in franchise history for the Colorado Avalanche. The pace of this period was lightning fast. It was insane. Fedun then took an interference penalty. It was a pretty sloppy power play, just in general, which is not typical. Gurianov gets a chance. Francois is dialed in. Definitely, the fact that he's a lefty definitely having an impact, especially on that Gurianov chance, because most of the time when you're aiming high glove side, it's the left side, not the right. So you see that moment of hesitation in the players when they're trying to shoot. Janmark takes a high sticking penalty. McKinnon was ridiculous on this power play. Just a lot of great stick handling and puck movement. And they just owned the zone. Like, it was a lot of fun to watch. It was like textbook hockey type thing. Nemesnikov hits the post, and then he has a late hit on Sekera, which gives him a roughing minor to start the third. Francois is strong on the penalty kill. And then Landeskog's like, oh, I want to take a penalty. He takes a roughing penalty. Pavelski's robbed. Radulov and Yost have an exchange. Fox has a chance. And at 4:42, as the penalty expires, Gurianov gets a goal assisted by Hintz and Perry. The Stars looked hungry this period. They really wanted the win. And 5 of 7 of their wins in the playoffs have been comeback wins. So I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Especially when at 9:02, Como gets a goal unassisted. Colorado took a timeout. They looked tired and outskated, and it was just like, oh boy, they need to regroup. But at 10:47, Ben gets a goal by Lindell, and you're like, uh-oh, they gotta score, then they gotta score fast. Well, they do. At 12:02, Ranson gets a goal assisted by McKinnon, and at 13:54, Kadri gets a goal assisted by Kanan, and Makar was a great deflection. With 2:09 left to play, Dallas goes empty net, and Heiskanen gets wrecked by Rantanen, and he looked hurt. Like, it looked like an upper body injury, but his knee also twisted a weird way, so that's a yikes. And at 18:26, Bellemare gets his first playoff goal, an empty net goal, this is by Rantanen and Cole. First playoff goal in 42 games, which sounds bad, but I really like Bellemare. I think he's a really good depth player. Dallas tries to go empty net again to take a timeout with 30 seconds left. Game ends. Graves and Radulov kind of have a little scrap, and Jamie Benn hits Landeskog. These teams hate each other. Both of these two games, a lot of physicality. They really hate each other. Oh, by the way, Colorado's chipping at that lead. Dallas has a 2-1 lead now, and home ice advantage, even though there's no advantage besides last change. But again, it's really not a big deal. Shots on goal were 37-32 in favor of Dallas. Face-off percentage was 57.7 to 42.3 in favor of Colorado. Both teams go 0-for-3 on the power play for 0%. Hits were 72-56 in favor of Colorado. Jesus. Block shots were 25-19 in favor of Colorado, and save percentage was .892 to .813 in favor of Colorado. Fun series. I cannot wait to see more. Colorado's depth finally showed up, which is great for Colorado. But again, I'm not set on the idea that Colorado's back. The third period was very rough for them until they scored those 2 goals in quick succession. I'm honestly surprised Dallas didn't complete the comeback. So going into game 4, I don't know, I still think Dallas might actually take it from Colorado, which would destroy my bracket again. My predictions are worthless. Tampa Boston also going to be a fun game to see how Boston responds, and Islanders Philly. I just hope Philly ends the series because I don't want to see the Islanders play hockey anymore. And that's that for today. If you enjoyed, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.